I think you made a really good point earlier. You said that when leaders first become leaders or get promoted, they're really expected just to know everything, just to jump in and start doing what a leader does. And that's not the case at all. And there are very few resources out there for leaders to help them grow. And I think leaders can sometimes beat themselves up over the fact that they don't know how to be a leader. They assume they should automatically know because now they're in that role. So that impacts then their confidence level, their self-esteem, which has a whole other effect as they work in their role. What are some of the shifts you have seen in the day-to-day leadership in companies versus maybe back when you were in corporate?
Yeah. So two things I want to say to that. Well, back when I got into corporate, it was I was being led by a lot of boomers. So it was very much command and control. It was all about, when you walk through the door, you leave your problems at the door and you show up and you work. It was also about, FaceTime, right? Like you were the first one in and you were in first one in, last one to leave. So a lot of these messages and even the development opportunities that suck the dots I got from one of my earlier managers. It was very much hey, you're here to work, you work hard, you get the work done, you get elevated, right? Whereas now we're starting to see it's less, not that it's less about getting the work and the productivity, but the focus is more on not on FaceTime, because first of all, a lot of us aren't going into offices anymore, right? So that's irrelevant. It's more around productivity. And to be able to hold people accountable and to lead in that capacity, you can't see them. You don't know when they're working. You don't know what that is. So whereas managers were, trusting people were working because they could see the butts in the seats, now they're having to think through differently of, okay, how do I figure out what performance metrics are reasonable in order for us to be able to track so that I can tell if this person is being productive. There are a lot more one-on-ones or quicker check-ins, with the team members, like, hey, how's it going? Leaders need to be a lot more aware of the lack of connectedness that we had naturally in when we were all in the same building, and figuring out, how do I do that differently?